Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the League Racing TV YouTube channel for round 6 of the EML Formula 1 No Assist Championship. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmensis. I'll be taking you through proceedings on a Wednesday evening as per usual, and joining me in the commentary box once again this week for his third round of the season in the commentary box is newly official League Racing TV commentator, now Pepsi Freak. Pepsi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. They've finally given me a badge of honor so I can wear, so they don't have, so security doesn't stop me when I walk into the booth thinking I'm some random that walked off the street. But yeah, it's good to be joining the family, and it's good to have doing some comms for these leagues.
Yeah, you've done an amazing job so far, and obviously fully deserved of the spot in the League Racing TV commentary booth. So, looking forward to continuing with the rest of the season. It's sure to be a really, really exciting season. And after last week's race at Silverstone, the championship is now starting to spice up a little bit more. Going into Silverstone, it did look like two drivers were already breaking away at the front of the field in M Short and Amazing Hour. Both of those drivers had pretty poor races this time last week. M Short, for connection issues, couldn't complete the race, and Amazing Hour had contact on the opening lap and could never fully recover from that situation. So,
He did look like he was close to making at least a recovery drive work, and then he got hooked on the last lap by, I think it was one of the Red Bulls, but I could be wrong on who it was. And he ended up the wrong way around, and it cost him, instead of getting maybe 8th, he got 12th.
Yes, he didn't get the result he would have wanted. He still takes over the championship lead going into this round of the season, but it's nowhere near as big as he would have wanted. It's only a 1-point gap. But, crucially, going into this round for Amazing Hour and a lot of the people behind in the championship as well, M Short is not racing tonight. The man that's been so consistent all season long will not be able to take part tonight, so we are down one of our championship rivals in the championship for the 6th round of the season. But just looking at the championship standings, a number of drivers this time last week really shone and had great races. Notably, though, both Renaults, a 1-2 for the Renault drivers, first win of the season for Young Power, and Harry B on the podium once again means that he is now third in the championship and only 12 points off the championship lead.
Yeah, especially after Canada. Harry was only at 48 points, so the gap was well over 30, 40 points, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's only 12. So that shows you 1 week where you get that big points haul and able to bring the car home. You can easily reel your way back in, and now with Short not here, he's easily looking to take over second place in the standings with a good finish.
Yeah, it's definitely almost pretty much confirmed for him, unless he has some sort of poor result tonight. I don't want to jinx it, so touch wood. But if he gets a good result tonight, an easy top 10 finish for him, and that could be him into second in the championship. And based on recent form as well, it's not to say that Amazing Hour has dropped performance recently. He has been a little bit unlucky in the last couple of rounds, Silverstone and Canada. But you've got to say, Harry B has looked incredibly consistent over the last few rounds and has looked like a podium sitter in almost every round he's taken part in.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive driver from what we've seen. He drives very aggressively going into corners, and he just takes as late braking as possible when he wants to get those good finishes. I've seen more aggressive drivers, but he's not going to take a chance and let it swim to the way. Again, Takuma Masato, no attack, no chance. He's going to take his opportunity when he sees it, and he's not going to wait next couple laps.
Yeah, exactly. I think we got great proof of that at Silverstone last week. He was one of those drivers caught up in that incident on the opening lap of the race alongside Amazing Hour, and he recovered incredibly well. Didn't finish second on the road, but ended up getting second on penalties in the end. So an amazing recovery drive at Silverstone for him, and that has secured him third in the championship so far. But just another note as well, Young Power in the other Renault, up now, first win of the season. He's up in the championship, I believe, on 63 points after missing out on his first win at Canada because of penalties. Do you see him as now being a possible championship frontrunner as well?
I think he's got that monkey off his back, especially after the race in Canada where he got all those penalties. It felt like he was kind of like, oh, what do I have to do to get a win? And now that he's got it, it opens the floodgates, because usually you see in leagues where a guy wins one race, he can then make that turn to 2 and 3 and 4, unless you're Heikki Kovalainen, where you only got one, and that was career over for you. But in the retrospect, most drivers can string together another one, and I just think those Renaults have found something. And with the championship coming to a close relatively soon in the next couple rounds, I do think the Renaults will be one to watch in the constructors and the drivers.
Yeah, they definitely will. We are now coming towards the halfway point of the season. Halfway through this race, actually, will be the halfway point in the season. So, my God, the first half of the season has absolutely flown by. And like we've just been mentioning, it has kind of flipped on its head recently as well. Other people to look out for tonight as well. Sorry to just jump in there, but other drivers to look out for in the championship. Both Red Bulls. Unfortunately, Zaldama isn't here tonight, but Neo, another one that is up there as well. And Venom's got hit the monkey off his back as well after a great first win in the opening round of the season. Hadn't scored strongly since then, and he was back on the podium this time last week at Silverstone. So he could be another driver to look out for.
Yep, I do want to point out one thing right now is if we look at the weather in Austria, it looks very cloudy, very foggy, and something else that caught my eye is a lot of drivers ran out to get on the track very quickly here. So it makes me think maybe there's a chance rain is on the horizon because you can see like almost everyone has left pit road and they're all pretty stacked. So it kind of makes me think usually in Austria you want to get out kind of quickly, but it generally kind of shocks me. Almost the whole field is headed out in the first minutes.
Yeah, everyone very, very tightly packed, like you say, in the last sector. We're just on board with MNT Hercules, driver for Team Mentalism. He is the reserve driver tonight. He has had a podium so far this season, back, I believe, in Canada in the Renault at the time. So he's now in the Racing Point tonight, and he is our reserve driver for the evening. He's going to be the first person to set a time here in the qualifying session. He's heading down through Turn 5 and up towards Turn 6 in the middle part of the lap. Only 10 corners to compete with on this track, and 2 or 3 of them are barely corners, so it's not really a difficult circuit to get the master of. It's all about being consistent around this track. One minute mistake in qualifying and you could drop a number of places with how close this circuit is. As he heads into turn 9 and 10, down to 7th gear, hooks the curb nicely, gets a little bit squirrely on the exit of the corner, doesn't quite hit the apex of the inside of 10, but up towards the line. First time in the session for Hercules is a 2.9, already into the 1 minute 2s. Great lap from the Racing Point driver, but you would expect drivers to maybe go a couple tenths faster.
Well,
and just as
amazing
I say
hour,
that,
just proved your point.
Exactly as I say that.
Yeah, and I do think it's something worth noting is a lot of these drivers, Harry now goes with a 1-2-7, so even the Renault's keeping that form going. Good to see goes to third. I feel like I want to say something. A lot of drivers are about to cross the lines. I'll say it quick, is that it's a track that a lot of drivers love the race in this game. And you can even see it when you go, if you boot up the game and go into quick races or that, it seems like everyone has an Austria lobby going because it's very fast, very quick, and it's kind of like the Daytona Talladega, the NASCAR games, where it's something where I don't want to be mean and say it doesn't take skill, but it takes some skill, but it takes a little bit less skill than a track like Monaco where you have to keep it off the walls. Here, it's just flat out and keep the foot down, and anyone can really win if you can just keep it relatively consistent.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks where it doesn't take a long time to get used to the circuit. If you've jumped onto the game straight from it, from not really bracing in anything else, it's very easy to get up to speed at this circuit with so few corners, and it's such a well-known circuit as well. So is Scott Bugner goes up into P5 in the Haas car. That's another driver to look out for tonight. Was having a great run at Silverstone this time last week, but the alternate strategy came into contact with, I can't remember who the driver was at the last race, but came into contact towards the end.
I think it was the Red Bull. It was the Red Bull of the guy that's missing right now here today because he was going for an aggressive overtake because trying to get past that Red Bull was kind of getting stacked by his teammate and broke his wing off.
Yeah, it was a shame for Scott Bugner as well after such a strong run, but so we'll have to look out for him tonight, see what he can do. Neo, on his second lap on the soft compound tires as a 3 flat, goes into P5.
Venom is currently on 2 purple sectors. We talked to him last week. He looked good in form, but got 6 seconds. He sped in pit lane and got 3 for cutting. So he needs to keep the pedals clean, but he looks like he's so far good for the past 2 corners. Now, Austria's circuit where it's going to be very kind of easy to ring up pedals because if you go a little bit wide on strict, the game is going to ring you up. So it's interesting to see down to the pole lap with a 1:02.549, 2 tenths clear of Harry and his teammate in third.
That is a really, really strong lap time. We were talking about how Austria in qualifying it is incredibly close. So a 2/10 gap in qualifying is a very solid gap to have around a circuit like this. A 2.5 straight out the blocks for Adams. Once again, incredibly strong in qualifying. Like you say, missed out on that second win of the season this time last week because of penalties. We'll have to see if he can keep it clean. But at a track where it's even harder to keep it clean than it is at Silverstone, that might be a little bit of a worry for him. Kuginia, meanwhile, goes into P5 in the Alpha Tauri, coming back into the season, having missed the first 4 rounds of the season. Had his first round this time last week at Silverstone, didn't go his way. He was also involved in a collision on the opening lap of the race. Recovered quite nicely, but wasn't able to really get the best result out of the race that he could have wanted for. He's another driver that's got the pace to be in the top 5 pretty consistently, but having missed so many of the opening rounds of the season, it's going to be difficult for him to really make a lot of an impression on this championship.
Yeah, it's a very short championship, though, so it's not like there's that much time to make mistakes if you start missing rounds consistently. And he is a fast driver from what I've seen in the F2 series, so if anyone could dig out of a hole, it could be him. But I just think it's a bit too big to make it. We do have a McLaren around, I think, or he just may have pulled over. Yeah, Chappelle into the kitty litter off that fast left-right right before Sector 3. So first mistake of the day goes to that McLaren. But I feel like, especially with this track where a lot of drivers are going to be kind of pushing to the limit, I feel like someone else will be taking that trip into the kitty litter before where this night is through.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see quite a lot of that. So many corners at the circuit where a slight misjudgment of when you put the throttle on and you really lose a lot of time. It's kind of similar to what we're talking about in Silverstone, where there's not a lot of places to gain a lot of time. Most of the time gained is in the traction zones around this circuit because the rest of the circuit is somewhat simple and very easy to drive, no matter really what setup you're on. So that's kind of where you see a lot of the time gained for a lot of these drivers. Creaser, meanwhile, on a lap, currently 18th on the grid, hasn't set a time in the session so far. Our only full-time Racing Point driver at the moment. has had a podium so far this season, a great second place result at Baku, but just hasn't been able to repeat that feat at any other point in the season. He currently runs, I believe, 7th in the points at the moment, still right up there. Maybe doesn't quite have the raw speed of the people around him in the championship, but is still very consistent. 43.8 at the end of the second sector is competitive to maybe put him inside the top 5 if he can nail this final sector. We'll see what he can do. He's about 0.3 of a second down on what Venom was doing at that point in the lap as he heads through towards turn 10, gets it nicely, shorts this up into 5th on the exit of the corner to nail the wheel spin up towards the line, and actually goes P2 with a stunning P2. Final sector.
Didn't expect that. I'm going to be honest. I was watching some other people's laps. I was kind of keeping an eye on Harry, Amazing Hour, and Grunicy as his teammate goes P3.
Wow.
So they're breaking down the 1-2s right now. Amazing Hour was up on a time right there, but he validated first quarter, so he was not going to prove. Harry up next. Harry goes too wide. He's also invalidated. And then Grunicy's also validated. So 4, 5, 6 all on runs right now, and have all invalidated on their flyers. So this is a track where it's very easy to kind of get lost in tire strategy because it's such a quick lap that you kind of want to keep going and keep going and keep going. But the problem is you only got a set number of tires, so you have to kind of at what point say, all right, cut my losses. We have to make sure we save some rubber for the race.
Yeah, another one that's invalidated their time is Young Power, down 15th at the moment, still yet to set a time in the session. It was a 43.7 by the middle point of the lap. If he matches Creaser's last sector, that would be provisional pole for the Renault driver. He crossed the line, and it was only a 3 flat. He backed off towards the end of the run, so I think he's going to go for another run on the same set of tyres. Venom's, our current pole position time at the moment, is on a lap now. He's just started, but he's slightly down in the first part of the lap, which is just turn 1, so there's not really much to gain in the first part of the lap. We'll see how the rest of the lap goes for him. Scott Bugner's improved up to P6 in the Haas car, and one of the racing points has pulled right off to the side of the track trying to get out of people's way. I think that might be... I think that's
the other one. It's Hercules. You are correct, because Kaiser is in pit lane right now pulling in. But yeah, it's again, with everyone so stacked up, it makes me a little bit anxious as a former driver, still current driver to a degree, that when you have a good run, you see a car that's kind of slow. It's amazing. I was kind of missed the pit lane, so got a little bit too fast. But it's a situation where it just makes you a bit anxious because you're like, all right, I got to go fast, but there's a car in my way, and if he's just a bit slower, it could really muck up your line. So it's a situation where if you want a pole run, you got to try to get the perfect space. As looking at Venom now goes P1 again, or stays P1, improves on his time. It was a very close gap between him and Kaiser, but now Venom kind of pushes the gap a little bit more.
Yeah, once again, it seems to be that final sector where most of the drivers are gaining time at the moment. Venom's was nearly a 10th down on his personal best by the time he got to the end of the second sector. Found a 10th and a half at least in the final part of the lap, which is how he's able to improve. Creaser, though, still a shock performance so far in qualifying. P2 on the grid would be his best qualifying position of the season so far by quite a way, actually, if he can hold on to that. Further behind Harry B, like I say, Harry B and Amazing Hour still yet to improve on their times. Killua in the Alfa Romeo ahead of his Alfa Romeo teammate, only slightly in there, and he's only 9 thousandths behind Scott Bugner, just proving that it is so close in qualifying around this circuit. XL Neo in the Red Bull currently on the lap. He's not improving, though, in the middle part of the lap. Let's see if he can improve in the final sector and get into the 1 minute 2s. Currently 11th on the grid. Not a bad place to start this race from. The alternate strategy is strong around here. Not as strong as some other places, but it is a relatively strong strategy. Neo across the line improves. Yeah, P6, yeah, so a great final sector.
Yeah, it looks like he lost a lot of time in the third sector there, so he gained a lot of time because it's, again, a very easy circuit. If you just go a little bit... At that point, when you have 2 purples, you're kind of like, all right, I don't want to muck it up. So you kind of take it a bit more conservatively than flat out. And it looks like he's going for a second lap here, so I think he doesn't want to risk his tire. He wants to put a little extra wear on his tires to try to go for a little bit higher. But considering, again, how close 10th to 3rd is, that's 0.3. No driver should really feel comfortable staying inside the top 10, maybe except for Venom, who is pretty clear of the margin. But again, the alternate strategy is not bad. Bergner made it work in Silverstone, but it's not as strong here like you were saying. So it is kind of worth noting that I think some driver will try it if they get 11 for 12.
Yeah, they definitely will try it if they can pull that off. It's just a case of being able to get through the traffic in the early phases of the race. Red Bull teammate Strudozzi and his reserve drive at the moment, currently 12th on the grid, was only 2 tenths up in the first part of the lap, so he's found a good amount of time already on this one if he can keep it going throughout the rest of the lap. Running a little bit out of sync with everybody else. Amazing Hour has just started his next run. Neo crossed the line, didn't improve on that time on the soft compound tyre, so he's just gone and put an extra lap of time in those tyres. There's a great middle sector from Strudozzi as well, nearly 3 tenths up now, so this could bump him right up towards, or maybe even ahead of his current Red Bull full-time driver teammate as he heads up towards turn 10. Can he nail this final corner? He keeps it on the track nicely. up towards the line, currently 12th on the grid, crosses the line, goes P7, just behind, lost a little bit of time in the final part of the lap, but still a good improvement. So the Red Bulls now running in P6 and P7, and they're off the back of jumping up into second in the Manufacturers' Championship after a poor showing for Williams this time last week. So they're on a bit of a run at the moment. They've not really been the strongest team all season long. They're still yet to finish on the podium, I think, with any of these drivers, but still strong season so far for them, and it looks like they might be continuing on that run.
Yep, Williams does look like they're continuing on this run, but something that's shocked me right now is Young Power still's not put down a time yet, and we do have a purple Sector 2 from Hercules. Hercules looks like he can have a run here for pole, so we'll keep an eye on it. He's going to go through the last couple corners here. He's going to have to keep it flat out. How aggressive will he take it to try to go for a pole run here? Gets as close as he can. Last corner, does not want to go too wide, or he won't validate. Keeps it on the rubber. It's going to be a run to the line. It looks like it's going to be a 102. It's going to be a 102, 418. That is a pole run from Hercules with 5 minutes to go in the session. But right now, Venom is right behind him, and he just started a lap. So monkey see, monkey do, you could say. And I feel like Venom's going to have an answer for that.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that he could do so. Remember, on that previous run, he lost a bit of time in the first 2 sectors, so can he improve on that time?
And
he's already up in the first sector by enough if he can keep on to that for the rest of the lap. So we'll keep riding with him. Harry B's just jumped up into P4. Young Power has jumped up into P5, so the Renault's now running 4th and 5th. So they are now officially up the front of the field, having set their valid times. Both Alfa Romeos are now starting to drop a bit further down the order. One of the Alfa Romeos, both the Alfa Romeos actually have pulled off to the side of the road and let other drivers through. There's obviously been some sort of problem for them on their laps. Nightshades is next across the line in the McLaren, currently 16th, goes 15th on a 3.3, just ahead of Verderana.
Oh,
Venom,
he's up.
Wow.
He's up by well over a 10th. That is finding some time here. It's going to be a run to the line. If he keeps it clean, that's going to be a 103 or even a 102 if he can keep the foot down. So see how much time he gains going through this last couple corners. If I'm a Racing Point driver, I'm sweating through the last couple corners here. Keeps the foot clean. DRS open. It's going to be a 102.364.
Wow.
Pull back the Venom. Venom saw what Hercules did and raised him, and now with 4 minutes to go, there's enough time for enough drivers to go back out again. But considering the fact that they've already used 3 sets of softs, at what point do you call it a fruitless offender and start second?
Yeah, at this point it is a really, really close battle. Most of these drivers maybe have gone for the softer strategy in qualifying and will have enough to do 4 runs on a set of soft compound tyres. It's all about whether these drivers have gone out at the right times or used those tyres. Killua crosses the line, the Alfa Romeo, to start his second lap on the same set of tyres, as I believe Gerasi, his teammate, is doing. Both of them were affected on their first runs, I think, with traffic, so they both had to back off and go again on their second lap on the tyres. Gerasi currently 12th on the grid, looking to get a bit further up. He's improved in the middle part of the lap, comes up towards the line, and it is a 2.7, goes P6, a nice improvement, goes ahead of Amazing Hour. So people finding a lot of time at this point in the session. Killua as well is on a lap at the moment. He's just gone through the first sector point to see if he's improved, but we'll see what he can do in the middle part of the lap as well. It's incredibly close inside the top 10 at the moment.
You was up, I think he validated, but something caught my eye here is that if you look through second and third, it looks like we got a Noah's Ark going on right now with all these teammates, because second and third, teammates second and third, 4th and 5th with the Renaults, 8th, 9th with the Red Bulls. Before Guinnessy jumped up, he was in a short battle with 11th and 12th. Then you got the McLarens in the back and the Alphas 14th and 15th. So we kind of got like a Noah's Ark of qualifying here, where you got your safety buddy with you and you want to set a good time, and maybe that's an omen that, again, I know I say this every week, but with it being so dark, maybe the floods are coming and it's going to rain during the race.
It could be very, very possible. That would be incredibly interesting if that just happened for the second week in a row. That would be absolutely brilliant. We'll have to wait and see if that is possible. Everyone's just starting to get ready for their final runs in qualifying now. So Scott Buckner, Amazing Hour, and Neo are out on the track. Neo's going to be the first person to start his last run in qualifying. He's already done, in all of his runs so far, has done 2 laps on the same set of tyres. That just seems to work for the Red Bull driver. So wait and see what he can do. Currently 8th on the grid, still looking for a decent result so far. He's been consistent, but just hasn't had the raw speed to really challenge at the front through the first sector split. Slightly up, only by 0.03 of a second, but the qualifying margins are so close that any gain is a gain on the grid at the moment. Let's see if he can get maybe into the 0.6s and get up towards maybe the second row of the grid, if possible. Heading down towards turn 4, then hooks over the curb on the left-hand side. Very late on the brakes, a big lock-up on the inside. Compromises his exit ever so slightly, and he's already backed off that lap.
Now remember, Sector 3 was, he's going to have to go for the second lap here because that mistake, but I did want to point out that Sector 3 was his main weakness on his main lap. He did, because Sector 3 he gained most of his time. So it looks like he's going to back down, save his ERS, go for one more run here. But we'll check on Amazing Hour, who's also up on his time, but looks like right now he's only looking at P6, but again, unless he can find some extra time in Sector 3, maybe some time can be gained.
A tenth and a half up now in the middle part of the lap, but that was not...
Oh,
and he's invalidated!
Yep, he's lost the back end there, went a little too wide, and that's going to cost him a lap here. Now he's going to gun it down, probably go for one more lap here. It's too late to bail, so he's either going to have to go for this lap or call it a qualifying session.
And look at all the cars coming out of the pit lane all at once. Everyone has come out right at the dying depth of the session. It's like Monza qualifying in 2019 all over again. Everyone has come out at the same time. Amazing hour. That first time he set that 2.7 is the first run he did in the qualifying session, and since then has invalidated every single lap since, so he just hasn't been able to improve. He's gone out again for another run on the same set of tyres as has Neo, but Neo's invalidated his second run as well, so that is qualifying over for Neo.
Yep.
8th is the best he can hope for. Young Power's on a lap, currently 5th on the grid. He's only slightly up in the middle part of the lap. It's not going to be enough to really gain him anything, bar maybe up to 3rd on the grid. It's not going to be enough to challenge the top 2 unless his final sector is really, really strong. He's not going to have any traffic as he runs down the hill. What is this final sector looking like after a win last time out? Can he get to the line and improve?
Let's see here. He's actually improved the P3. I was going to say, considering that he invalidated most of his laps before that, it's something to say. I think he was taking that lap he did before as a banker lap, so I think he was going to improve it, because now he's already got it timed down. He doesn't have to worry about risking it, so he can go more aggressive. This is put up or shut up, as Venom has actually improved, and he has to get by the slow AlphaTauri there, so he's up on his time. So it looks like he's going to try to make it into the 1:02.2s if he tries. But Hercules is also up as well.
Yeah, Hercules not quite strong in the first sector, but still an improvement from the Racing Point. We'll see what he can do. How is the other Racing Point doing? He's just started his next one in qualifying. Harry B is slightly down in the first part of the lap. Coutinho has retired from the session. Amazing hours out of the session as well, so he's not going to be improving on P7 on the grid. One of the McLarens is going to be the first across the line. I believe that is Chapelele, who is still yet to set a time.
Oh, someone around. Hercules is around. Hercules has lost the back end, so that is lap done for him. I was kind of looking for the field there, and that's going to be lap done, so Hercules will not improve. P2 is the best he can go, and Young Power's on a cooldown lap, so it's up to his teammate in 4th and Harry to have a run here, but both of them are not really that far up, so I think Venom may have a pole run here. Actually, I think he's just called it a lap, so he's actually come back in the pit lane. So 102.364 will be the lap, and if anyone can improve, that's what we'll have to beat. Here comes a Ryan to Harry to the line. Harry going to not improve. The Ferrari behind him will improve. Jumps up to P4. Vettel, I don't know where he pulled that out of the bag, but he's now up to P4, and Gotza is up to P8.
Wow, a couple of drivers really shining at the end of the qualifying session. How is Creaser doing? Currently P5 in the grid. 8,000's up. He's invalidated, though. He would have improved, and it would have put him back ahead of Vettel. But P5 on the grid, still a great result from him. Jirazi, currently 7th on the grid. He's invalidated his final run in qualifying. And I believe that is everyone's qualifying session done with.
That is qualifying done here, and it's something worth noting that basically the Red Bulls kind of got split there, and you can see the difference between getting to start on a fresh set of mediums or softs if you're choosing, and starting on the softs you qualified on is not that far of a distance between the two of them. So maybe Neo maybe hoping he got 11th just because he's done 2 laps on the softs, while everyone else around him has probably done 1 lap on their best. Just a quick check here. Yeah, he's the only driver to do 2 laps on his softs in the top 10 except for Gunisi, who also did 2 laps on his. But everyone else has done 1 lap, so they're going to be at a slight tire disadvantage at the start of this race.
Yeah, Neo in a really difficult position then. 10th on the grid, the lowest of the people on the softs, and with the oldest set of softs in the top 10. That is a little bit of a problem for him. The good thing is, the silver lining at least is it's his Red Bull teammate behind him on the track. But who knows, Stradozzi is a reserve driver. He doesn't have to race for the team, so we'll wait and see what he can do. Scott Bugner and Killua as well. 2 fast drivers. Coutinho down there in 15th as well. A lot of drivers at the back that are very, very fast and will look to shine in this race. But the qualifying kept turning on its head, but from the start of the session all the way through to the end, it did look like Venoms was the man to beat, and he remained the man to beat. Pole position for the 2nd week running.
Yep, he's going to keep that pole position, but again, the gap between Hercules and Young Power, I think we got a fight here, and considering the fact that Venom is a little bit questionable last week, he's got to get his mojo back, and it's a situation where I looked at it and looking at his times, I think he's something that what I'm trying to say is he needs to be careful keeping the penalties, because if he gets a few too many, it may be a situation where we may be looking at another what-if scenario.
Yeah, and we've already seen Hercules and Young Power, both drivers, be on the podium and benefit from other people's penalties. So that is going to be one thing that Venom's going to have to look out for. Here's the full run through then. It's Venom's, Hercules, Young Power, Vettel, Creaser, Harry B, Jirazi, Gotza, Amazing Hour, and Neo, your top 10. Then it's Stradozzi, Scott Bugner, Killua, Verderana, Coutinho, Chapelele, Charlie Harris, and Nightshades rounds off the 18 drivers in qualifying. Everyone on the grid separated by less than a second, which is great to see. Incredibly close throughout the field. But a number of shock results in the end, especially Vettel, P4 on the grid from seemingly nowhere in the early phases.
Yeah, he's a driver that is like around the mid. I don't want to be mean to Vettel. He seems like a good guy, but he's someone that usually is around 10th or 9th on the grid usually, and now up to P4. So maybe this is a track where it's a strong suit. Because I know in my personal experience, there's tracks where I'm really good at Suzuka, Hungary. There's tracks where I can know I'll be up there at the front, and tracks where I do bad. So maybe this is a track that Vettel is good at, and maybe this is into his wheelhouse.
Yeah, maybe, like you say, that could be the absolute. It could be the case. And Austria is one of those tracks where if you're not really quite in the zone at this circuit, you can plummet 10 places on the grid because how close the field usually is. And that might be a case of what's happened to Amazing Hour, championship leader by a singular point. His closest championship rival, M Short. But the last thing that the Amazing Hour needs right now, if he wanted a solid championship lead going into the next round of the season, he needed to be right at the front. The problem for him is that he's been outqualified by Harry B, by Venoms, and by Young Power, last week's race winner. All three drivers are on a bit of a run at the moment, climbing up the rankings. Amazing Hour does not need to be finishing behind them at this point.
Yeah, right now, yeah, he does not need to be finished behind him because right now he's got a chance to make some good point on Short because Short's not here. But if the midfield comes crawling back up and close the gap, he's not going to have a chance to breathe. So right now he needs a good result here in order to give himself some breathing room from the field. And so if he has a mulligan race similar to what happened last week in Silverstone, he can kind of catch his breath. But we got 36 laps here to duke it out. And if Silverstone was anything like last week, I feel like these drivers are going to be at each other's metaphorical throats throughout the whole broadcast.
Yeah, I imagine so. Everyone was very, very close throughout the field. You've got to say that it was Young Power and Venoms that dominated from the front, but everyone below that was incredibly close throughout the field in terms of pace. It's going to be an interesting race. And Austria, so many was Venoms hit the wall on the formation lap.
Yeah, he just took out the 150-meter board, so I think a couple drivers... I know no one really breaks the 150-meter board this track, but I think some drivers may not be too thrilled. They just lost a breaking point marker because of Venom's interpretation of creative driving.
Definitely trying to get some temperature in those tyres. It's very overcast once again for the start of this race. Just a note of the drivers outside the top 10 and what they are starting on. The majority have gone for the mediums, apart from Coutinho in 15th, who's gone for the hard compound tyres, and Charlie Harris in 17th, who's gone for the soft compound tyres. So Charlie Harris clearly wants to make places very early on in this race, and Coutinho is going to be going very long into this one. The only problem for him is the hard compound tyres around the circuit aren't a very strong tyre at all, especially in the early phases of the race, and with it being so overcast, it might take a while for them to heat up.
I know the rule in question is in the 25% race, you never put on a set of hards because it's so pointless, but in a 50% race, it does look like it could work a little bit better, but I just don't think it would work in Austria. As for Charlie Harris, he made the right call last week at Silverstone, if not for the mistakes, but I think he's done wrong here. He should buy on his set of mediums because he's going to have to fight through at least 16 cars, and his tires are going to fall off a lot quicker than the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, they definitely are. So everyone, formation lap is already over, by the way, guys. 10 corners, a really short track. It comes up on you quickly. So we're already getting ready to line up on the grid. It's Venoms at the front once again. Hercules, the reserve driver, in second place on the grid. Young Power having won this time last week, back at the front in third. Vettel and Kriisa both with very strong qualifying. Two surprise drivers in qualifying, fourth and fifth. Our championship leader, ninth on the grid, and not looking in the best suit at the moment. He's made a couple of mistakes in qualifying. Ninth on the grid. He's going to be vulnerable to the drivers on the alternate strategy towards the end of this race. So we'll wait and see how this one is going to pan out. The drivers are lining up on the back row of the grid. So we are getting ready for the lights to come on ahead of the drivers. Nightshades will be the last person to line up on the grid. 18th on the grid in the McLaren. Here we go then. When are the lights going to come on ahead of our top two? Venoms and Hercules on the front row. Here come the lights then ahead of the drivers. Who's going to get the best run up the hill towards turn one? Lights are out very quickly, and they are off. And Venom has got a good enough to actually a very strong start from Venoms, and he is easily clear into turn one. Young Power diving down the inside of Hercules at turn one. That didn't work. Hercules holds on to the second place, and somehow Young Power held on to that car. Kriisa's had a good start. He's already passed Harry B. He's already passed Vettel, and he's up towards fourth place. Vettel has dropped behind Harry B as well. Now he's going to drop behind Razzie if he's not careful down the inside of turn three. Vettel from fourth on the grid has already dropped down to seventh place. Not been a good start. Amazing Hour is upper place ahead of Gotze in the Alpha Tauri, who's under pressure from Neo behind, trying to make way on those older, softer compound tyres. Strudozzi and Killua running side by side for the lead. Other medium runners further down the field, and it looks like Neo's going to win out in the battle with Gotze, and it looks like Killua's going to win out in the battle with Strudozzi. But at the front of the field, great start for Venoms. No pressure from him into turn one. He holds the lead ahead of Hercules, who just held onto it from Young Power.
Yeah, a lot of the field there. I was keeping an eye for the back of the field there while you were covering the front. All the drivers in the back, most part, got through it clean. Now we got a little bit of skirmish between Kurga and Nightshade as Coutinho clips a little bit of the grass. Now going to try to go Charlie Haas, who's trying to make the strategy work. Looks like the McLaren Nightshade going to try to hang it around the outside here of Coutinho. Not going to make it work. Probably got a warning for that. They're going to touch wheels, go wide again. And we do have a car pitting. That was Chapelle. who did run into the back of one of the cars on the second corner there. He's actually decided to retire from the session. So it looks like not a good race start for him, and he's going to actually be calling it a day early. So 18th, Chappelle, McLaren, this is not what they want to see. We still got a battle here for P15. In the back here, we got Werner, Nightshade, and Kugino fighting 3 wide going into the breaking point here. That's never usually going to work. McLaren is going to be the big winner here. Going to give a big old shove, and it's going to make the position game for Nightshade. And for some reason, the game has thrown McLaren back out on the circuit, so you'll see him retiring in corner 1 relatively shortly.
Yeah, that was very, very messy actually between those three. Kugino in the middle on the hard compound tires just got sandwiched from both sides from Nightshade, so from Verderunner, I don't think knew he was 3 wide, and Nightshade was sending it down the inside, but these three battling has dropped them well off the back of Charlie Harris already, and we know how strong DRS training is on this circuit. Strudozzi in the Red Bull, Simony struggling quite a lot on the medium tires. He's dropped behind Scott Buckner now. Charlie Harris thinking about a run down towards turn 9, but it isn't quite close enough. But look at that, Strudozzi, the rear of that car all over the place as he runs through turn 9 and again in 10, and Charlie Harris isn't going to wait for the straight. He's just going to dart down the inside of the Red Bull driver, and Charlie Harris up to 13th place from 17th on the grid already. He's making good progress, and he's nearly onto the back of the rest of the soft runners. So good start to the race from both Haas cars really. Scott Bogdan now to 12th, Charlie Harris up to 13th. Up to the front of the field though, Venom's had a great start, but now he's under pressure from Hercules. Young Power's right there as well. Hercules was very early on the brakes there into turn 3, and I think Young Power just ran into the back of him.
Ooh,
he did. Young Power's broken his front wing.
Yeah, he has. He has indeed broken his front wing there, so he's going to have to come in and get that fixed, try to limp around here. But, yeah, a lot of training here in the front here, kind of cutting for the field here. Got a lot of battles. We got 2 contests. The Haas is a touch. Haas Civil War. And Charlie got a little bit too aggressive on his teammate Bergner, trying to make those softs work. And Haas is now wrong. I don't think he's got any damage, though. But that is going to be egg on his face. Back down the P15 is now going to have to pass Nightshade and Stradizo again. But he was just over-aggressive on those softs as Harry has passed his teammate for 4th position as Young Power's limping into pit lane with his broken wing. So that's not what Young Power wanted. And now Harry is going to try to make the lead Renault here to make some time, as now Harry has set the fast lap of the race. Yeah, Young Power then, last week's race winner, back into the pit lane. That is a disaster for the Renault driver who needed a good result here compared to Amazing Hour. Amazing Hour, meanwhile, up into 6th place, so he's passed Vettel in the past few laps as well, and he's onto the back of Jurassic for P5, as at the front of the field, both of the racing points. Creaser down the inside of Hercules. I think Hercules has broken his front wing as well, by the looks of things. I'll take on the left-hand side. He has. I'll check here. Yeah, he has. He's missing on the right side, so that's going to make that car... Again, this track is more left than right, so that's really going to hurt him in those left-hand corners. So it's going to be a situation where does he decide to pit or does he try to limp? Because he's only got to make it probably about another 4 or 5 laps to make it to his window. So he doesn't want to lose too much time, but if he really starts falling off the back of Kaiser, it may be time for him to pit as he goes a little bit wide there in that squeaking left. So that's also something else he's going to have to look out for. Because if he goes a little bit too wide in these corners, he'll start racking up warning, 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 warning. I think he's going to pit as he's pulled to the very far right of the road. So he's not deciding to risk it, and he's just going to get the fresh wing. And Harry's made another... Actually, no, he's staying out. Never mind. Wow. So I guess he just wanted to defend for the corner there. But, yeah, seeing the speed difference there, Harry is someone that I think with Hercules' wing break, that's going to cost him a lot of time. And now he's under pressure from Ganassi. And Ganassi going to try to make it on the inside here. And again, Hercules goes wide, so he probably should have pitted last lap. And now he's under pressure from him and the Red Bull. Yeah, now here comes Amazing Hour trying to get 2 for 1 here down the inside towards turn 3. That's a really tight gap to go down the inside. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Really late on the brakes. Forces his way through. Hercules. Yeah, Hercules off the track. There's contact. Ganassi in the grass. It's getting messy. Hercules. Yeah, Hercules was in the grass there. Hercules in the grass. He had nowhere to go. Tried to remerge, but Ganassi had nowhere to go as well because of Amazing Hour. So both of them in the grass, and Ganassi almost got the hook, similar to what Amazing Hour happened last week in Silverstone. Both have got refired, but now Hercules was in P3 a lap ago, and now he's in P9. He really should be considering pitting now because he's just losing out big. Yeah, that was an absolute disaster. There's a couple laps for Hercules and for Young Power, then 2 front runners down towards the back of the field now, when all of a sudden Creaser has caught Venom for the race lead. The gap was over a second a lap ago. Venom's all of a sudden under pressure, so Creaser flying in race conditions in that racing point. At the moment, Venoms just doesn't have the same raw speed at the moment, and Harry B is going with them as well. An Amazing Out from 9th up to 4th. It's been a dream start for our championship leader because everyone seems to just kind of got out of his way. As Neo with a time penalty, Gotza as well with a time penalty in 7th place. So both drivers already with a 3-second warning. Both Red Bulls with 3-second warnings already, 3-second time penalties. As well. So both Red Bulls now got him as well. Something worth noting is that the top 3 have broken away from Amazing Hour. Amazing Hour is 1.7 behind us. I think Bergner has just made a pass on Hercules, so Hercules is just staying out for his window now. He's just going to try to limp it out, because we see where if you look on the track here, you can see that just going into turn 1 is Young Power. So if he does pit to fix his wing, he'd fall all the way back there, probably even farther because of the situation. So I guess he's now just going to limp and just pray something breaks his way.
Yeah, he's just going to hope and think that something, like you say, something plays towards him later on in this race. The sun is starting to come out, so the track, it doesn't look like rain might be affecting us in this one. It looks like it's going to be a nice, dry race. But Creaser really flying in that racing point, looking for his second podium of the season, maybe his first win of the season. I was counting him out of this championship already before the start of this race. And now look at him right at the front of the field, battling with Venoms once again. And Harry B, yet again, at the front of the field in that Renault now. Currently third in the standings. He wouldn't be able to take over the championship lead as it stands because Amazing Hour is directly behind him on the road, but Harry B is making a very strong case for himself to be a front runner in this championship. Vettel has somewhat recovered from that poor start, runs in 5th, is following Amazing Hour, and has somewhat dropped Neo, who's on those older, softer compound tyres, so they are going to drop off a little bit quicker than everyone else around him as well. Scott Bugner is the lead medium runner, and he's gapped Killua quite considerably, who's now under attack from Charlie Harris once again, and Charlie Harris down the inside, recovering nicely in the Haas after that earlier spin, gets past Killua, and up into 11th place is the Haas driver. And now here comes Strudozzi down the inside of Killua, who looked really strong, and Strudozzi far too late on the brakes.
Same song, different dance between the two Haas boys. That's something that Charlie Haas did, and that cost him dearly, but at least Strudozzi was able to keep it clean, or at the very least keep it straight, so less time lost. But Charlie Haas is gaining a little bit of time, but without that mistake, he'd probably be out to P9, even P8. But because of that mistake, it's just something that happens in racing. So keep your head down, kid, keep your foot down, and maybe you'll get back up through the field here. But something that kind of catches my eye here as we take a look at the telemetry here is that both the top 3 runners are about 60% ERS, while Amazing Hour, my mistake, not Amazing Power. That would be a combination of the other two. But Hour is only at 11 ERS, and same thing with Vettel. So it looks like the top 3 is really saving their stuff here and just kind of just forming a train and keeping the gap and keeping the distance ahead of Hour. And Hour's trying to take everything he's got in the tank to try to keep up with the top 3.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's using every last bit of that ERS to try and get into the DRS range of Harry B in front. He's right on the bubble, but not quite there. And you can tell if Venom, Creaser, and Harry B want to pick the pace up, they could do so quite easily with the amount of ERS they've got in their back pocket, especially when it comes to the pit lane as well. If they want to come in a little bit earlier, you would imagine that Amazing Hour is going to be the one that's going to try the undercut on these top 3 to try and get in amongst them in the latter stages of this race. It's been an interesting race so far. A lot has happened already. Just a little bit of a note of the people further down the field then behind Charlie Harris, who's Killua has just picked up a time penalty. Very bizarre to see. Killua was so strong at the start of the race, got to be the lead medium runner after the opening lap, and since then has just dropped. And yet again, on the alternate strategy, it seems to be Scott Bugner that is the strongest at the moment in that Haas car. He is detached from the queue of drivers in DRS range up front. He's 3 seconds behind, but with a possibility of maybe going on to softs later on if he can stretch these mediums far enough. Again, Scott Bugner could be right in this in the latter stages.
Yeah, I think that is the case as well, and you can see that he's slowly reeling in that top 8 as well. And remember, he's going to go longer in the stint here. We assume that the softs could probably go another 4 or 5 laps, at least. We'll say about 14, 13, 12-ish. So it's safe to assume that he needs to make it to about 24, and I think the mediums will go about 21, 22 laps comfortably. So I think he will be good to make that work, go medium to soft. He may be a little bit struggling by the end, but if he can just get in this pack, he'd definitely be someone to watch near the end of this race.
I think as we were just talking about him, he's just made a mistake coming out of turn 3 because Hercules is back in front of him, so Scott Bugner's lost a bit of time on this lap so far. It's been a bit of a shame. Yeah, it's 2.2 seconds down, so he's made some sort of error in the early part of the second sector, unfortunately, but he's still facing in the right direction as into the pit lane at the end of lap 9 comes our race leader, Venoms.
Yeah,
that's a very early pit stop then. Coming in at the end of lap 9. Yep, set a hard
I just don't know if
tires.
the mediums... Yeah, I better be going for a hard set of hard tires, because if he's going for a set of mediums, they will no way make it. But I think the rest of the soft runners may be trying a set of mediums here. But we'll have to see, because we don't get that information like on the program, so we'll just have to kind of guess what the drivers are doing. But it's a situation where I just think, in retrospect, I just don't know if that's going to work. Because hards will make it, but I think everyone else is trying to go for a set of mediums, or if you're the medium runner, softs. So I just think that maybe another mistakes like last week. But Venom obviously could prove me wrong here. Fast driver, but he's going to be struggling for pace in the early part of this race, because look at Kugino.
Yeah, Gugino's just not had the pace at the moment on these hard compound tyres, and at the moment as well, Young Power's not really making that much of an impression on the timesheets either. Currently down in 16th place, is further down the field. I don't think we've got a battle between Nightshades and Verderano at the moment for P13. Venom just behind this on the road, which is the last thing he needs. The last thing he needs at this point in the race is traffic. Wait and see if any of our top drivers react to the pit lane from Carissa.
Yeah, someone's coming in.
Yeah, and Amazing Hour
coming in. So it looks like we got another split here. It looks like Vettel, Harry are staying out. But again, the undercut is strong around here. But since they're going on a set of hards, we'll see what they put on. I think they're both going hard wool as well. So I think right now you'll see a split here between the field. Some drivers, if they're coming in now, they're going on a set of hards. But actually, speaking of that, I think the Racing Point came in for a set of mediums.
I think it's actually, no, he's definitely on a set of hard compound tyres by the looks of things. I think that he's kept with
he
that.
Is. Saw a shadow there. My mistake. It looked like it was yellow on the camera, but no, it was white. But the point is, back to my analogy, though, is that I just think right now, if you're top 5, you're sticking out for a set of mediums. Because right now, you lost 2 laps to your top runners. If you're Vettel, Harry, Gunisi, Neo, Golza, try something different. Let's take a risk.
Yeah,
roll
definitely.
The dice.
I think if they can get to lap 13 or 14, then the mediums would definitely be possible towards the end. Venom's worked his way through the traffic quite nicely, actually. He's passed Verderana and has passed Nightshade, so he's up into 11th place. Carissa now has got to try and do the same thing if he wants to try and keep up with Venom's, who has somewhat broken that 1 second barrier between himself and the Racing Point. An Amazing Hour is starting to close back in a little bit on the Racing Point in front. Harry B staying out, Vettel staying out, Jurassic staying out. Neo and Gotts are both coming in at the end of lap 11, so they're in for a set of what you would imagine to be hard compound tyres. It looks like our top 3 are going to be going for that different strategy of going for the medium compound tyres. They are going to struggle towards the end of the race, but they're going to have a major pace advantage in the early phases. It's all about what pace Harry B can do out on the track on his own.
Actually, Ghost has gone on a set of mediums.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure of that one, this one. So he actually has gone on a set of mediums. Or again, he's on mediums, but everyone else had just fitted one on a set of hards. So Ghost is going to be the first one trying a set of mediums here, while everyone else that just came in went for a set of hards.
Wow, that's a very bold strategy from lap 11. At the end of lap 11, he pitted. That is going to be a long time on those medium tyres. It's got to use the pace now. Maybe hope for something to play his way, but Gotza and Neo really have become detached from the rest of the drivers at the front of the field. Amazing Hour, 5 seconds up the road now, and again, Neo in race pace just can't quite keep up with the drivers that he qualifies around. It's just not working out at the moment for the Red Bull driver, and with a time penalty looming over him, and a driver behind him on the road on medium compound tyres.
Nope, Harry's staying out again. We'll see if Vettel comes in. Vettel is coming in, and Gunisi is coming in. So Harry is going to stay out a lot longer. So he's really trying to... Yeah, if he goes for a set of hards now, that is a rookie mistake. Because there's no way you should have pitted like 3-4 laps ago. We'll see what Vettel does here. Vettel is going on a set of mediums, and I'm going to assume the Alfa Romeo is going to be doing the same strategy here. And it is a yellow tire, so they're both going for a set of mediums here. So we can assume that's what Harry's doing.
Yeah, definitely assume that. Like you say, if he stayed out longer just to go for the same set of tyres as our net top 3 in this race, that would be a big mistake. Vettel comes out of the pit lane, still behind Amazing Hour, but in a nice position.
Something that kind of interesting, yeah, so it looks like all the medium runners are still out there at the very least. I was kind of wondering what happened to some of them, but most of them are still out there with Kugila and Scott Bergner. But with Venom now under pressure, he's going to have Kugino up there on a set of hards, so he's going to go a lot longer. So I think he'll try to make quick work with the fresher tires, but it will be worth noting that they got a battle for 4th and 3rd right now, and that battling may be helping Harry.
It may be helping Harry, definitely, as Carissa, meanwhile, has got past Nightshades and Verderana. Amazing Hour's not able to follow through, or is he? He's going down the inside towards turn 6. Late move, but gets the move done. Yeah, he can't afford to stick around.
Yep, he cannot afford to stick around. You are correct on that thing. And you will see here, Kugino's up to 3rd. Venom has made the pass for 4th, and he's past Kugino. So not much fight there. I think they may have got a little bit loose, Kugino and Kila, because they were fighting. And next thing you know, Venom's already by. And Venom was not that far behind, but you didn't think that would work. So interesting to note.
As Harry B comes out of the pit lane, is he going to jump Amazing Hour here? He's going to be very close to Carissa. He was already ahead of Amazing Hour, but to keep that gap, he's kept it. He's kept ahead of Amazing Hour by staying out 4 laps longer. That is a great strategy from Harry B to have that kind of pace. Now on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. And Amazing Hour, my word. That was from very far back.
He was going for the lunge there on the Ferrari, and he was like, oh, maybe I can make a 2-piece here. And then at the last, like, no, back out, abort. But he luckily avoided no damage there, keeps it clean, and now but Harry, I'm shocked that overcut worked that strong, but maybe it's just because of the traffic, because everyone came in. Maybe there was, like, Amazing Hour had to fight a lot of cars, so maybe that traffic did help him out.
It definitely did. Harry B now's got to make like work of Cruiser in front. He's got to get ahead of that racing point as quickly as he can if he wants to make this strategy work. Venom is starting to get up the road just a little bit now with a few cars in between himself and the net second place.
Sector 3, someone around. That's the Ferrari. Yep, it's the Ferrari of Verderada. If he gets it fired quickly, there will be no warning of a VSC or anything. Yeah, he's got it fired quickly, back on the road, so no safety car coming, because I know sometimes if it takes you a while to turn it around, the game will throw a pity safety car or VSC, but he got it refired. So no issues there, but that's probably what Young Power did not want to see, because being in 5th, 13th. Oh, penalty for Venom.
Yeah, once again, Venom's with a time penalty. We saw this time last week at Silverstone. It cost him hugely. It cost him that race win and a second place this time last week. And yet again, the penalty's creeping in. Creaser and Harry B yet to pick one up as Killer's gone very deep into turn 3. That allows Creaser up the inside.
Yep.
Yeah, Harry B's going to make the move stick as well. Down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. No fight put up as you would expect. They're on different strategies. So Killer down to 6th place. An amazing hour. You can tell on the hard compound tyres already. Just struggling a little bit to keep up with Creaser and Harry B at this point of the race. And Vettel's not that far back either. He's not in any traffic at the moment. He can just push on those mediums, and if he can close in onto the back of Amazing Hour and get that move done on the Mercedes quite quickly, could play perfectly into Harry B's hands championship wise.
That is correct indeed. Here we think Coolio is coming into pit lane this time by, so we'll not be seeing him staying out any longer on those mediums, and he's made it 14 laps on those mediums. So it is worth noting right now that Harry is on 1 lap old mediums. If we assume he goes 14 laps, that is going to be interesting. Actually, he's retired, actually. So, Kugila is not happy with his car. Going to call it a day. Yeah, and now Kaiser gets a penalty as well for 3 seconds.
Wow.
So Harry, also keeping it clean, may actually benefit him as well. Because right now, the drivers ahead of him, except for Scott Bergen, who's going to have to pit, and Kugino as well, both had 3 seconds.
One thing to note as well, actually, just riding on board with Harry B at the moment, Carissa just ahead of him on the road, Cugino in 3rd, still yet to pit. Venom, since passing Cugino, hasn't been able to drop the AlphaTauri. He's been stuck at about half a second ahead of the AlphaTauri, and a big lock up there from Venom sounding towards turn 4. But Cugino's keeping up with the Mercedes in front quite nicely, and Carissa's just sat behind the AlphaTauri, I think, waiting for the AlphaTauri to come into the pit lane for the first time, and so is Harry B. So Venom's hasn't got up the road in this time that he's had a bunch of cars in between himself and these 2 drivers of Carissa and Harry B. He's not used it to full effect. He's not broken away. So it's working quite nicely, at least for Harry B at the moment. Carissa with a time penalty is going to cost him unless he can pass. Venom's on the track, and here goes Carissa for a move on Cugino, actually.
If you just saw up the road there, Venom did get a little scoy off X, so maybe he's pushing a little bit too aggressively here. But I think what's helping out is that Cugino's on those set of hards, so they haven't fallen off a cliff yet. Now he goes way too wide. That's going to reopen the door for Cugino and Harry. So Harry's just going to sneak on by here, and he could try to make a move on Cugino here. 3 wide. Well, not 3 wide, 2 wide. Harry going to have the inside line here. How aggressive will he be on the medium runner Cugino? How aggressive will he take it? He'll get the clear done, get the elbow, and push him out just enough, and will make the move. Harry capitalizing ultimate opportunity, you could say, and now up to the P3, and that's what Venom did not want to see.
That is definitely not
Amazing
what he wanted.
Hour.
No, definitely not, but that has played beautifully into Harry B's hands. He read that situation perfectly. Carissa sent that so deep on the brakes down in towards turn 1. That was never going to get stopped, and he lost the position to Cugino once again, and to Harry B, who just waited for the mistake to come, and the mistake came. He capitalized on it instantly, and look how quickly he's catching up to the back of the Mercedes in front. Harry B doesn't have to pass Venom's on the track. Venom's does have a time penalty, but obviously these medium tyres are going to struggle towards the end, so if he can get in front of Mercedes and pull away a little bit, that can help him massively in later runs. Scott Bugler, meanwhile, still leading this race, is the lead person on the alternate strategy. He's still doing a good job.
But he's not really, Venom's not really reeling in Berger as much as you think he was on those fresh tires. He's been out there for 7 laps, and when he first came out, I noticed it was 4.3. Now it's only 3.2, and that was about 3 laps, so he's gained about a second every 3 laps, which is, here comes Kaiser. Kaiser going to try something, makes the pass on Cugino. He's up to P4, but probably a little bit of egg on his face. And Amazing Hour as well could get past Cugino as well. So similar, same song, different dance, you could say, with the Kaiser making a move on Cugino and the driver behind him capitalizing. But Cugino not going away yet. You can see by the blinking light, I don't think Amazing Hour has much ERS left in the tank, but Cugino's going to lose the spot out anyway to P6. So Cugino down to 6.
Yeah, down to 6, still yet to make a pit stop in this race, but doing a solid job at the moment on those hard compound tyres. Amazing Hour again with another late dive down the inside of turn 3. That seems to be his signature move. It been a little bit aggressive, but it's got him the places nonetheless, and he's still going in this one, so not a bad race so far from our championship leader, who didn't have a great qualifying. Harry B thought about a move on the inside of Venom's up towards turn 3, but just wasn't close enough when it got to the braking zone, so we had to stick out of that one for the time being. But Harry B looking very comfortable in that third place on the road, net second in the race. Look how quickly he's catching Venoms in a straight line down that pit straight, and Venoms again, just a lot of understeer mid-corner for that Mercedes. Just doesn't look like the front of the car is hooked up all that well on the hards. Harry B again looking for a run up towards turn 3. He's going to look to the outside line. He's going to think about it. He might do the switchback on the exit, and Venom's too deep on the brakes.
Yep, he's going to go for the switchback here, and he's not going to have the inside line for the corner, and will have DRS because of the slowness, and he's going to make the pass work, and now Harry on the mediums is, hold on yet, actually, there's still the Mercedes there, but nope, eventually he'll get clear here. Well, he's going to try to hang it on the outside. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Mercedes is still there, but now eventually he'll lose out. Can't keep it around there forever, and Harry, again, makes a nice pass there, caught Venom out nappy, you could say, and now Harry goes with the switchback, now with the P2, now going to set his sights on Bergner, and now we'll see how the pace difference between the mediums and the hards is.
Yeah, we've got to see now. Harry B has got to try and break this gap to Venom's behind. So difficult to do it around this track with how crucial time.
Oh, Bergner just got it 3 seconds.
Yeah. Another driver then. We've seen a lot of drivers, almost every driver in the field, apart from Young Power, Hercules, Vettel, Amazing Hour, and Harry B, are yet to get it. Are the ones that got a time penalty. Those 5 drivers still penalty free at the moment. Nightshade's just picked up, I believe, his second penalty of the race. Venom thinking about another move here, coming back at Harry B down towards turn 3, but isn't close enough. Creaser still just within DRS range of the 2 drivers in front, but that battle with Coutinho has left him a little bit detached from our top 2 in this race. Jurassic, meanwhile, passing Vettel for P7 on the road. Down the inside.
Sector 3, Nightshade has retired, and I think it's actually he's crashed on track there. You can see on the, as we look on with Widener,
safety
you can see
car.
Broken Wings. That's a safety car. Yo, he has stopped pretty early on the track there. That is something Bergner may have wanted to see. I don't know on that one, because Bergner, it's going to help him get to the end on a set of softs, but at the same time, he's going to fall back pretty far because the field is kind of bunched, so he'll probably come out maybe around right ahead of Goiza, maybe, or between that kind of 9th, 11th battle. But this is what Young Power want to see, because now he can pit, get on a fresh set of softs, and Young Power is going to put game on. His game on face, basically.
Definitely, and with it, without him having a penalty as well, that will play beautifully into Young Power's hands. That is the lifeline he needed, and for Hercules as well. Both drivers really needed this lifeline in this race.
Harry coming in. Actually, Bergner, Harry coming in, Venom coming in, Kaiser staying out. So I think he wants to make those hards work. So yeah, Bergner's actually going to make out like a bandit here, because I think majority of the field is coming in. Well, I'd say majority. Well, I'm proved wrong here because Gizier and Vettel's also stayed out as well. But he's probably going to come out P4, which, again, that ultimate strategy has really helped him out. If he didn't have that 3-second time penalty, he'd be even doing better. But yeah, differencing of strategies. But Amazing Hour is going to get stacked, remember, because of the double stack here. It's going to come out, well, P7, so not too bad. Kugino as well going to make out nice because of that ultimate strategy as well.
Yeah, a lot of drivers then fresh set of tyres. Scott Bugner and Harry B softs though, and everyone else apart from that really onto the medium compound tyres. Young Power onto the softs, Hercules and Gotza on the softs as well. Charlie Harris onto a set of soft compound tyres as well alongside that. But Venom's an Amazing Hour and Coutinho all for the medium compound tyres, so they maybe don't think the softs can get to the end of the race. It's right on the bubble, but I think the soft tyres would be fine. They haven't done a lap in qualifying, you would imagine, these drivers.
Yeah, they're fresh.
Yeah, they're going to be
Those
fresh.
Those softs are fresh.
Yeah, they're going to be fresh soft compound tyres, and obviously we're later in the race, less fuel in the car, not going to wear out as quickly. And we saw a lot of drivers running. Well, Harry B ran to lap 13 on his set of soft compound tyres that he did a lap in qualifying on, and had no problems in terms of pace. So I think the soft tyre would have been the better option for this point in the race over the mediums. I just don't think that the pace drop-off for the softs is going to be enough.
I think it will be interesting by the end, but look at Harry. Harry made 14 laps, and he was still able to gap Amazing Hour and get very close to Hercules. So I think, generally speaking, it's a situation where I think the softs were the smarter strategy, because you're going to get 2 laps here, you're going to put no wear on them, and then you can have 13 laps to go to the end. So I just think Venom and Amazing Hour are playing the long ball game here. They think that by the end, those mediums will be just in that peak window, while those softs will be limping. So it's a strategy here. But remember, Bergner and Harry are also going to have to get by Vettel, Gersi, and Kaiser, all on hards and mediums. And it's safe to assume Kaiser will make it to the end. Gersi and Vettel, they're about 14 on 8. That's 22?
Yeah.
Quick math time. Yeah, it's 22. So, saying that my math skills may not be the best, you can blame the public education system. But Vettel and Gersi, they're kind of close here. So, logistically speaking, those mediums can make it 22 laps, but they will definitely be screaming by the end. So, how much of a roadblock will they put in front of Bergner and Harry?
Yes, that is really the case of this race. How quickly can Buckner and Harry get through this traffic? They've got to get through it as quickly as possible. They can't really waste any time, because as soon as the DRS comes into play, it's going to be easy for the likes of Jurassic and Vettel to just sit behind Kreiser and just sit in a second and third place spot. And if that is the case, Vettel, still without a time penalty in this race, could be sitting in the pound seat. And you've got to say, we've already seen from this race, safety car's already in this lap. So
already in, yeah.
quite quickly.
I mean, these are quick laps. These are quick laps.
Already on to lap 23 coming up to at this point, so this race has flown by. But we've already seen from this race so far that the pace drop-off from these tyres isn't that large. We've already seen Scott Bogner wasn't being reeled in that quickly by Harry B or Venoms, and his tyres were 20 laps old at the time. So the drop-off in pace on these tyres isn't that strong, so don't expect Jurassic and Vettel to be woefully slow compared to the drivers behind them unless they get a poor safety car restart. Chrysler is going to lead the way in the Racing Point. He does have a time penalty looming over him, as does Jurassic, but that still doesn't mean they're out of this one just yet. They're going to play a crucial part in this race. Chrysler on the hards, the only person in the field on a set of hard compound tyres, trying to get some temperature into them as he runs down towards turn 9. It's going to go now before turn 9. Jurassic and Vettel react quite nicely. Scott Bogner, though, slow to react.
Yeah, he is slow to react indeed. That is not going to help him indeed, and that's going to cause some issues. Just taking a quick look at the vector here while having this on the side here, it looks like we got relatively clean for Amazing Hour and Harry. No real incidences to report, so they've been keeping it clean. Same thing, I think, with Vettel. So I think they're a little bit away from warnings. So it will be interesting to see how long they have this. I think Charlie's got a penalty there, but it's worth noting that those three are pretty clean, so it's going to be a while before they get 3 seconds. But with the 14 laps to go, they're going to be very aggressive here. So how quickly can they rack up warnings, or how quickly will they rack up warnings?
And Young Power already started to make his way back through the field. He's already got past Neo and is up into 9th place. He's got 3 medium runners in front of him that he wants to pass. His target, though, is beating Amazing Hour, our championship leader. He wants to get ahead of that Mercedes if he wants any chance of sticking in this championship battle after what was a disastrous start to the race for the Renault driver. Can he get past Gugino on those medium compound tyres as well? Cruiser holding firm at the front of the field, not under masses of pressure from Jurassic just yet. Scott Bogner, though, tucked right underneath the rear wing of Vettel in that Ferrari. He's not going to have a move down towards turn 9. It's just not close enough, and the braking zone isn't deep enough for the corner. Hercules working his way back through the field. He gets past Gotza, though, into turn 9. He's up into 11th place, and Neo starting to drop down. Gets another penalty in the process as well. Scott Bogner looking to the inside line for turn 1. Again, not close enough in the braking zone. Hercules, the fastest lap of the race. Here goes Scott Bogner, though, when they exit the corner. Vettel, though, using his ERS in defence.
He's got to try something here. He can't sit there forever, else it's really going to affect him when the DRS opens. So he's got to get as far up the grid as possible and put as much distance between him and Harry, because remember, the penalty system, he's going to get past here. But I think Harry, they hook each other a little bit. That's going to allow Harry to make a move here. So Berger may be a little bit too over-aggressive here, even though he probably had to. He's going to make the pass. He's going to get a two-piece here, ring him up, and now he's in third. And we got a little bit of a lockup for Grassi, but the Haas driver at least will get the position, at least from the Vettel. Now Vettel's under pressure from Venom and probably Amazing Hour as well, sort of sooner rather than later. So Vettel has no time penalties, but he just made out pretty bad there because of the incident in question between him and Bergner.
Yeah, kind of a little bit bullied out of the way was the Ferrari. He's now just got to try and regroup and not lose too many places, but Amazing Hour's going to go for a move into turn 9 here, down the inside of the Ferrari. That is a bold move. If he wants to try and pull that off, they hold it side by side somehow through turns 9 in towards turn 10.
And here comes Young Power. Young Power gets squirrely. Oh, he got the back end too loose there. No damage. He keeps it off both walls, but I think we just had a Code Brown moment there. We may need a change of a fire suit, but Young Power, I swear that would have been the death of me, and he's still loose because the tires went in the grass, so they're pretty much too warm right now. But oh my god, I was riding on board with that. I thought that was all she wrote.
That is such a shame as well for Young Power. Was working his way through nicely. He'd already got past Coutinho, and now he's dropped back down to the bottom of the field. It just keeps going wrong for the Renault driver tonight. It's not working out in his favour. It is working out in Hercules' favour, though. He's up to 10th place now as Coutinho passes Vettel, so Vettel just continues to drop on those medium compound tyres. It's not working for the Ferrari man. Still doesn't have a penalty, but he's just plummeting like a rock at the moment. It's just not working for him. Hercules right up behind Neo in towards turn 6. Can't get the move done, though, and that Racing Point is looking large in the rear view mirror. Harry B now right up behind Jurassic as well for second place. Chrysler, though, you've got to say, on the hard compound tyres, is doing a very good job at keeping it out in the lead. He's not under pressure from Jurassic behind at the moment, at least. Harry B's not quite caught up to him just yet. This race isn't over. Harry B has got a good run out in the last corner, but isn't going to go for the move in towards turn 1. Amazing Hour slightly losing touch a little bit with these drivers in front. He doesn't want to do that because he could allow some of these drivers to get out of penalty range off the Mercedes man. Jurassic thinking about a move on Creaser, maybe up towards turn 3. Is not going to be close enough, and Harry B likewise isn't close enough. DRS is now able to know Harry B into the back of Jurassic into turn 3. I think they just about get away with it, and Harry B doesn't go for the move.
No damage.
Yeah, Harry B doesn't go for the move just to hold on to the position and make sure that that's the sportsmanship play there from Harry B. They hold on to position, they get away with it, but that just goes to show that you can get caught out by the difference in pace.
Yep, Harry Venom made a purse on Bergner, so he's up to 4th. But something I'm doing calculations in my head right now. Remember, Kaiser has currently got 3 seconds. Right now, that would put him down to P8. P8 on the grid. Actually, almost P9. If Vettel can get his act together, he can get the P9. So, okay, you gotta remember, goodness, so actually, we'll take 4 off that, my mistake, so that would be 8, 7, 6. He'd be P5 right now because of the mistakes. So he's not really getting much time or gaining much time on those fresh hards. Sorry, not fresh hards. They are very worn hards. So he's not gonna be able to make much time off the lead pack here. So he needs Guinnessy to be a roadblock, metaphorically speaking, or something to happen. But with these drivers going so fast, right now, that 3 seconds may come back to haunt him with this train.
It definitely could, like you say, could come back to haunt. And now Jurassic thinking about a move on the Racing Point coming up towards the top of the hill. And Venoms is thinking about a move on Harry B here. He's going to look to the inside line. Yeah, down the inside line. Oh, Harry B too late on the brakes again. Hits Kreiser in towards turn 3. He's going to allow Kreiser to keep the pace. Oh, that's so close.
Oh, the Racing Point tries to pinch him off. Did not probably know the Mercedes was there. Now it's going to allow Harry to hang around the outside here. Mediums versus softs. But Kaiser's going to take the outside line here. That's going to allow Venom to pass. You can see all that smoke there. And now here comes the Mercedes. Going to try to think about something. Will have to tuck him behind. No way he's making a pass there. And Kugino somehow up to 5th. But the problem is he's got 15 seconds worth of time penalties. But then we got to move here on the inside here. Venom going to try to make it around the inside here. Going to switch back out. Don't get the back end too loose. No traction on. And he'll make the pass work. Now here comes Harry. Bergner as well. Probably licking his lips here. Sees an opportunity to make something happen. And it's all gone wrong for the Racing Point driver. As soon as he lost 1st, now he's down to 4th. And it's probably going to be 5th in a second.
Yeah, Scott Buckner right up behind the Racing Point, now looking down the inside. What a shame for Kreiser, got run into at turn 3 for the 2nd lap in the row, and this time round, it's cost him hugely. Scott Buckner down the inside and towards turn 1. Kreiser trying to hold it, and he's forced off the road again. And Scott Buckner's going to get the move.
Bullied.
Yeah, bullied out of the way, and now Amazing Hour's going to find his way through. Coutinho's right there as well. Amazing Hour's going to think about a move on Scott Buckner. Out towards the corner, it's going to be late on the brakes. They've got to be careful of Harry B there.
Oh my god, it's never going to work. Amazing Hour just had to back out there. No, it's going to work. Now Coutinho on the outside here. You're going to need to get the boy hunters here, because Kaiser and Coutinho are just splitting. Kaiser down to 7th, and it's probably going to be 8th when his teammate, or his reserve teammate in this race, is going to get on the inside of him.
Yeah, Coutinho trying to all the way go around the outside of Amazing Hour. It didn't work, but he holds on to 6th place. Hercules goes up into 7th place. Kreiser then down to 8th. Just like Vettel, as soon as one passes, they all follow through and you just plummet down the order. The Racing Point down to 8th place, and now Vettel was right behind. Young Power has somehow recovered to 10th in all this mess, and he's still looking at a decent result without a penalty. So despite nearly completely throwing that car away in the final corner, he's still right in the thick of this battle as Scott Buckner picks up another penalty running in 4th place.
That's not going to help him.
And now Venoms is going to think about a move on Jurassic for the lead here.
Yeah, but he's got his ERS. He doesn't have much ERS left. He's going to go on Vettel on the inside here. Now can he make quick work of Kaiser? Kaiser's going to happen. Grinnissy's lost the lead, so the lead has been battled here, and the Mercedes takes over the lead from Grinissy. Vettel is off. We got a lot to cover here. Vettel going to lose out the 11th here, and now he's going to be under pressure from Gotza. And with no time penalties, he's still okay to get the top 10 finish at the very least, because remember, Coutinho and Charlie both have 15, but he's probably was hoping for a little bit better. And something worth noting is the 3 drivers that stayed out. We got 1 in 2nd, but the other 2 are currently in 8th and falling and 12th. So it looks like staying out may not been the smart strategy unless you are the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, it just hasn't worked so far. Jurassic running in 2nd place. Harry B behind him, still without a penalty. He's not going to want to let Venom get up the road, though. If Venom can break DRS, he could disappear at the front of the field. There's still 7 laps to go in this race when we cross the line. A while to go. Yeah, Harry B's got to keep it going.
Oh, Jurassic, another one.
Another penalty.
Up to 6.
Yeah, that's going to cost him quite heavily. Scott Buckner, though, is going to think about a move on Harry B before Harry B can think about a move on Jurassic. So Harry B, we said about at the start of the stream that he's an aggressive driver, but under the safety car restart, he's not been aggressive enough, because every time he thinks about going for a move, he gets overtaken from behind, and now Young Power's got a time penalty.
Got 3. So something worth noting, I'm doing math in my head right now. Harry would win this race on merit unless Venom can get up the road. But the problem is right now, Amazing Hour is currently the next one up with no time penalties, and he'll jump into 2nd. So he'll only gain 5 points, even though it probably should be more. So he really needs Amazing Hour to have something go wrong if he really wants to jump up the standings. But I guess it's better to bring the gap from 12 to 7, presumably, rather than none.
Yeah, exactly. He's still ahead at this point in the race, but considering where they qualified, this should have been a much better result so far from Harry B. Harry B still tucked right under the rear wing of that Alfa Romeo. He's so much faster in the middle part of the lap. He's going to think about a move into 9. He's going to look.
Probably doesn't want to throw it away.
This is going to be a bold move if he can stick down the inside. It's not going to work.
That's what I said. He doesn't want to throw it away, and he went for it. Now he's got to refire, but it's going to be down to 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Oh, That's what I was thinking, was he was sitting behind because he didn't want to throw away a mistake, and he just had to go for it now. He's like, I'm doing it. And that has cost him dearly. Now he's under pressure from Vettel, but at least keep 11th. But that is it was just a racing incident. 2 drivers going for 1 corner. And, yeah, now that's going to phase into Amazing Hour right now, because now he is currently the car that's on pace to win. So I think I may have low-key jinxed Harry.
Possibly both of jinxed Harry there, but like you say, he didn't need to make that move. Girassi was sticking with Venom. All Harry needed to do was sit behind the Alfa Romeo and he would have had a comfortable win, but he went for an audacious move down the inside of turn 9, which is not a traditional overtaking. A late move down the inside. He had to be fully alongside to get that move done, and he wasn't alongside enough.
All I gotta say is pride comes before the fall, and I guess he wanted to win this race on merit, and it's just a racing car driver. You don't want to sit behind someone and let someone else take the checkered flag when you could have took it, and I guess it's just the racing instinct. Some want to play lure ball and get walks, others want to go for the home run.
Yeah, exactly, and this time around it's just not worked out in his favour. Still without a penalty, so we can recover quite a few places in this race, but it's given Amazing Hour a massive break, considering this man started 9th on the grid, struggled a lot in qualifying. What a turnaround this could be for the Mercedes man if he could win this race from 9th on the grid, having run by far not near the front in this entire race. He's not looked like a threat really in this race at all at any point, and now all of a sudden we come to the end of this race and he's sitting in the pound seat. His only threat at this point in the race is either a penalty or Hercules.
I was going to say Hercules. Hercules went over too aggressive in turn 1 there, and he was well close, but now he's 1 second behind Cugino, and Cugino's 6 behind Amazing Hour. So he's really now down to DRS range. He's going to need to keep it clean, but the good thing for Amazing Hour right now is he's not going to make a move happen, and right now Bergner's ahead of him, and Gradissi are fighting, so that could cause a stack up here and cause Amazing Hour to fall back here. Bergner going to try to put the pinch on Gradissi. That's going to allow Amazing Hour to have a run here. How aggressive will he try to take it, knowing what just happened to Harry? Probably doesn't want a thing to happen. Cugino up to 18 seconds with the time penalties. He's going to try it. Again, don't learn from it. Now he's going to back out. I think he just got flashbacks, Vietnam flashbacks of Harry, what happened to him, and he's going to tuck in behind. Hercules, though, going to take an opportunity to get closer here and maybe try something happier, because if you're Hercules, you're a reserve driver. You got nothing to lose. Go for the win.
Yeah, it's got to go for the win, and what a saw it be for Hercules to win this race, with the damage he sustained at the start of this one, dropped almost down to the back of the field, and has recovered to a possible P2 in this race as it stands. But Venom has crucially broken DRS to these drivers behind, so Venom is not out of this one just yet. We've got to see what his pace is like. He took pole, he was incredibly fast in qualifying. Amazing Hour down the inside of Girassi, gets all squirrely on the exit of the corner. Gerassi's going to fight this down towards turn 4, and it looks like Gerassi's got a faster car in a straight line into the corner. Amazing Hour's going to think about being late on the brakes. He's still down the inside line, but he's just not far enough alongside. He can't go for the move. Coutinho's off the road, and now Hercules
off the road. It's going to block him up here, and it's going to cause a wide here, but now Hercules can now see Amazing Hour. So right now, Amazing Hour is now probably sweating a little bit. It's going to be a battle between softs and mediums. Hercules has the fresh softs. Well, not fresh softs anymore, but he went on the softs in the last safety car, and Amazing Hour's on a fresh set of mediums on their safety car. I don't know why I keep calling them fresh. Well, I guess they're fresher than Gurdissi's tires. But the point still stands here. Hercules can see him. You can hear the boss music coming from the back of Amazing Hour's headset right now, telling him, get going, or else you're going to end up losing.
But the problem now for Amazing Hour, just looking at the gap to the leader, he's nearly 3 seconds, is 3 seconds behind his teammate. Venom is doing enough. He's doing enough at this point in the race to win this on track. He's got that DRS gap, and he's now breaking away as these guys battle behind. Amazing Hour, if he wants to win this race, he can't afford to sit here and wait for it to come to him. He's going to have to push his way forwards. He's thinking about it on Girassi down towards turn 4. Once again, Girassi this time to the inside line. Amazing Hour on the fresher mediums is going to try and go all the way around the outside. There's contact between the two of them in the braking zone. Amazing Hour, though, I think is just going to get this move done on the inside towards turn 6. He's going to be past the Alfa Romeos up to 3rd place with an aggressive move, but at the moment he's right on the cusp of losing this race to his teammate.
That he is. Something that worth noting is Venom already has 2 warnings as well. If Venom gets 1 more, that will ring him up. So he's not out of the woods yet. Venom has to be pushing, but also clean, or else that will be that. But now Amazing Hour has a buffer car between him and Gradissi. So Gradissi is going to have to try to, at the very least, maybe get out of the way, or give Hercules some road here, but he doesn't have to do that. But right now, Venom is currently leading. But he's 2 points, and there's Venom's penalty. He's gotten the penalty. So Venom has thrown this away. Amazing Hour is now leading this race with 2 to go. Hercules is just there, but he's got to have a miracle occur or something. He needs to get past him right now. And now at Hercules, Amazing Hour is going to try to make a move on the outside of Scott Bergner. He's going to try to make a move on Scott. For a lot happening here, and he's going to try to hold it.
Yeah, he's going to try and hold it around the outside. He's got more ERS than the Haas driver as well, who's struggling on those softs. An Amazing Hour is just going to drive down the outside. Someone's gone off the road. That's Coutinho.
And Neo.
Yeah,
Coutinho and Neo. Yeah. Both have 18 seconds. Not much worth note back there. That is going to help Harry Lewis get back to the field here. Amazing Hour has gotten past 2.5 seconds. So Amazing Hour is looking to win this race unless he gets a warning. I think he only has one warning to his name right now. So he should be all right, but you never know.
You never know. We've got a lap to go in this race, and everything has happened all at once in this race. What a nuts race Australia has been. We've ended up with a Mercedes 1-2 as Coutinho gets another penalty. That's 21 seconds now to his name. What a disaster this race has been for the Alfa Romeo driver. Further down the field, by the way, Harry B has recovered to P8, is still looking at a possible podium, despite spinning out of contention earlier on, so my word, this could be a great comeback from him. Young Power, what a shame he got that penalty as well, running in 6th place. What a great recovery from him, having to have to pit at the end of lap 2 of this race. Up to the front of the field, Scott Bugner thinking about a move back on Amazing Hour in towards turn 3, but isn't close enough. Can he get the move towards turn 4? He just hasn't got the grip left in the soft compound tyres to go for the move. Gotze and Vettel battling now for P9 on the road. Gotze, I think, is going to hold the inside line, but Vettel's going to try and keep it around the outside in the Ferrari. It's going to have a better run down towards 4. Gotze's just not got any ERS left, and Vettel back up to P9. A somewhat recovery from the man who dropped like a stone at the safety car restart. Venoms is going to win on track yet again this season, though. A costly mistake is going to cost Venoms a chance of the win. I think even without that other penalty, though, Amazing Hour had the pace to win this one on penalties. It's a Mercedes 1-2 on track. Venoms is going to win the race on track, but Amazing Hour from 9th on the grid and seemingly nowhere in the first half of this race is going to come through and take another race victory this season. Amazing Hour is your race winner at Austria. Hercules gets second on the podium in the end. Venoms holds 3rd, Harry 4th, Young Power 5th, Scott Bugner 6th ahead of Vettel and Chrysler. Jurassi drops to 9th ahead of Gotze, who finishes in the top 10 on debut. What a crazy race from start to finish. Everything was happening all at the same time. An Amazing Hour from 9th on the grid. We pretty much wrote him off at the end of qualifying. He comes through to win the race and does exactly what he needed to do.
I mean, I'll put it like this. Champions step up when they need to step up. And right now, he was only 1 point ahead of Short. Short was not able to show up, and it looked like the midfield was catching. And now he just got 30 points on Short. And now he's also gotten a good gap on the driver as well. He was able to extend the gap, I know, to Harry to at least probably 20 points. So he is right now sitting pretty. The field looks so close. And now Amazing Hour is able to push a big gap on the field. And like I said, champions rise up when they need to rise up. So it's a situation of, I think now he's looking in the catbird seat with the season at the halfway point. He's looking good.
Definitely, he's looking good. Like you say, that is a really strong drive and Amazing Hour. I fully agree with you that champions do tend to get to the front no matter what happens to them throughout the race, through qualifying or throughout the race they enter. Always end up being at the front of the field, and Amazing Hour has done that all season long. What a drive for the Mercedes man to pick up another race victory this season. I believe his second, or I think it might actually be his 3rd race victory of the season. What a brilliant drive from the Mercedes driver. Here's a run through.
This would be his 3rd. That would be his 3rd.
Let's run you through the rest of the top 10 then. Hercules, what a great recovery from the Racing Point to finish in 2nd after the damage early on. Venoms yet again, the 2nd week in a row, gets a penalty and drops him to 3rd. Harry B in 4th, good recovery from the spin, and Young Power as well, a good recovery from damage early on in 5th. Scott Bugner 6th. Alternate strategy was strong, but it didn't quite work out for him in the end, ahead of Vettel and Chrysler, Jurassi and Gotze round off the top 10. Then it's Verderano, Stradozzi, Neo, Coutinho and Charlie Harris, I believe, are your finishers. Nightshades, Kilua and Chapelele didn't finish this race. Great race in the end for Mercedes and the manufacturers with a 1st and 3rd. Red Bull, a disaster for them, 12th and 13th.
Especially for their home race. Yeah, especially their home race. But something I just want to say is the 2nd Mercedes driver, he's just made another mistake there. And it's probably now getting more mental and more mental because he looks so close. Won this race again on track and won 3-second time penalty. He was looking good, and then he got another one. So he's just probably sweating the car right now, just saying, what do I have to do to win a race on merit and actually win? And it's probably eating away at him right now.
It probably is really eating away. Venoms has such great pace. You've got to say, in the last few rounds, Venoms has looked like the faster of the Mercedes drivers, but just hasn't been able to put it together at the end of the race. It's such a shame for the driver who won the first round of the season, looked like such a strong championship contender, but a race like that kind of seals the deal for Venom. Currently 10th in the standings. He needed to start closing in on his teammate in the championship. Hasn't done that tonight, and we're now at the halfway point, so he's got to have a lot of luck and some amazing results towards the end of this one. On to round 7 in 2 weeks' time. We've got a 1 week's break because of the Teams Championship returning this time next Wednesday, so all these drivers can relax after.
Oh, war.
Yeah, gotta.
we got some war. I meant to find a press pass to get in that one because I love me some good old war. But regardless.
Regardless, yeah, absolutely. It gives these guys a break from what crazy race this was. It gives them time to cool off and get prepared for the next one. And the next race in 2 weeks' time is at Spa in Belgium. So that is obviously set to be another great race. It really has been a thrilling championship so far. So many ups and downs. An amazing hour again. Bouncing back after 2 poor results in a row. Bouncing back in perfect style to win here, whilst his closest championship rival, M Short, wasn't here tonight. So going into the next round of the season, it is all looking good for the Mercedes driver. Before we finish off the stream today, though, Pepsi Freak, I'm going to ask you for your driver of the day. Who picks up your driver of the day award?
You know what? I'm going to give it to the Hercules. I think coming in as reserve driver, coming in a bit cold, not knowing your took the Hulkenberg award basically. Came in kind of a bit cold, said I need to know what I need to do. Went out there and I got a second, almost got a win there, but that's going to be good for his confidence there. And I was tempted to say amazing hour, but I feel like that's the obvious answer. So we'll go with we'll tip someone down from the bottom of the field here.
Yeah, I think I fully agree with you actually on that one, Hercules, as well with that recovery driver. Really strong recovery, kept it penalty free as well, kept it clean, stayed out of trouble in the second half of the race when all the trouble started to kick off, and it worked beautifully for him to get back onto the podium. What a shame he's not a full-time driver, because my word, he definitely could have been up there in the championship if he was, but hopefully maybe this time next season he will be right in the thick of the championship. But that is where we're going to round off the stream today, guys. Thank you so much, Pepsi, for joining me in the commentary box once again. Thank you to all of our drivers for taking part today. Thank you to everyone for watching the stream. Tune into League Racing TV for the rest of the week. Divisions 2 and 3 are taking place at 8 PM tomorrow, and Divisions 4 and 5 will be taking place at 8 PM on Friday. Divisions 1 is back next Tuesday, and then the EML Teams Championship are back this time next Wednesday, 7 PM for League 1, which is the league that I will be commentating over alongside Luke Etheridge, and James Head and Dakar will be taking you through the Premier Division at 8:30 next Wednesday. So we've got a 2-week break before we're back. So give you guys a bit of rest. We'll tune back into this race. Definitely for me, at least, race of the season. That was absolutely nuts. So absolutely brilliant stuff. But for myself and Pepsi Theaters, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.